Hey guys, the symbol for Capricorn, the sea goat, is probably the most confusing glyph of all the signs. Let's break it down and see what we can learn. When I draw it, this is the version I tend to use, but you've likely noticed there are several variations out there, which I think adds to the overall confusion. Sometimes the V is much larger like this one. In other versions, the V is almost like the symbol for Aries, which actually has a surprising amount in common with Capricorn. In some other versions, the V looks more like an N. And because the right side of the glyph is so fluid, there's a number of ways it can be drawn. But typically it looks very S-like and loops over itself. There's also this older variation of Capricorn, which kind of looks like a number 7 with a tail. For today, let's focus on the modern version. Regardless of how it's drawn, there's generally two distinct parts of the symbol. The left side represents the goat, and the right side aligns with Capricorn's aquatic nature. According to my research, the V portion of the symbol is said to represent a goat's hoof or beard. At its core, it's an arrow pointing downward, which is symbolic of Capricorn's relationship to earth and water. The alchemical symbol for both elements are downward triangles, and in many ways, the sign is a convergence of these two energies. If you look at the Rider-Waite Devil card, which aligns with Capricorn, you'll see how much the downward arrow is emphasized. You can see it in the devil's horns, the bottom tip of the inverted pentagram, and its hand gesture. Perhaps most noticeably, the legs of the devil and its beard also create a V shape. The V is also the middle letter of the word devil as well. In contrast to the left side, the right side is curvy and always loops over itself. You'll notice that a lot of modern depictions of the constellation show the sea goat with a similar looping tail. It's also very close to an S, which begins the word sea as in sea goat, or even sea as in eyesight. A lot of older symbolic dictionaries emphasize the powerful vision of the goat. And as I've mentioned before, the Hebrew letter associated with the devil card, and therefore Capricorn, is ayin, which is also the Hebrew word for eye. The right side also looks very snake or tail-like. A lot of the earliest myths associated with Capricorn involve serpentine monsters or watery creatures with tails, which the symbol alludes to. It's my understanding that there's a number of primitive cultures that associated their evil entities with aquatic monsters or hybrids, which is why I believe there's an esoteric connection to the modern-day devil and Capricorn, the sea goat. In the minds of many ancient peoples, water symbolized both a source of life and death. It's where crocodiles and other mysterious creatures lurked, which has been the source of many countless myths. I'm also inclined to think that in ancient times, there were several cultures that associated the underworld as being underwater and not necessarily below the earth. I hope that helps. As always, I'd love to know what you think.